Yo, what's up, bro? Oh, damn, my chat thing. Oh, hell no. What's my chat box at? Ashron, what's up, brother? Matter of fact, I gotta make you moderator real quick. I bet. Alright, bro. I made you moderator on my channel, bro. Oh, hold on. I'm get started real quick. Damn. Threw me on what I was about to do. Oh, bet. Alright, I'm gonna get right. Appreciate the hearts, bro. Oh, no, I know what I was gonna do. Say you chilling, bro. Oh, I gotta bring my watch color up. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we gotta play Dead by Daylight soon, bro. Let me know when you free. Twitch. Oh, here you go, Twitch. There you go. Why can't I make this small? Alright, there we go. Boom. Bees, what's up, brother? Damn, my twins in here tonight. Hold on, Bees. I gotta make you moderator real quick. Ah, damn. Hold on. Oh, they get on Twitch. Come on. Alright, y'all, we about to get in this motherfucker. Hold on, I'm gonna get ready real quick. Everybody start in 3 minutes, y'all.
Another one. Another one.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
You get something to drink, then we can come back and get started. Appreciate y'all. 27 people in here. I appreciate y'all. Lock in, lock in. Shout out to my new moderator, Astron Beezy. He on Twitch right now, but when he going to YouTube, he'll be my next moderator. I bet lock and load, cat. Any motherfucker twin. Any motherfucker.
Another one.
Oh shit, my headphones up.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, wrong one. Lock and load, lock and load. Oh, you said you had me pulled up? You said Tupac dead. Hold on, twin. Hold on, what I mean? Well, I can't hear it, right? I feel like I can't hear nothing. Is that my phone? It is my damn phone.
Which was a large.
Hold on, damn twin. Hold on. You did all up in there first. Hold on. Let me get right first. Hold on. Let me get right.
My voice too, and this is the voice that
50.
sells.
Hold on, 50. Hold on. Let me get right. I bet. I knew I was hearing something like that. My damn phone. I checked my first time reacting to 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much about 50 Cent. Besides his hit songs and his damn video game. That's all I know about 50 Cent. Damn, let me scoot over. Damn, my camera always got me in the corner somewhere. But, what y'all saying? You two, you pulled up? I bet. Go ahead and get started, twin. See, I like it 50 Cent song. But I don't know too much about 50 Cent. What y'all know about 50 Cent, bro? I don't know too much about 50 Cent. Then my first reaction, so y'all tell me the details, some of the true or false. We getting this from Hip Hop Universal, like always. He always got the good videos. You know what I'm saying? Why 50 Cent got shot 9 times. I don't know the back. I just know the movie. Like the movie, what's the Get Rich Die Trying? That don't read that. I thought he got shot 9 times because of that. I don't know if that's true or false. We gonna find out.
What does it feel like to be shot? Is it a physical feeling?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt as much.
First of all, Oprah. Oh hell nah.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
She one of them buds. She one of them buds, Chad.
Much as people imagine it hurts because of your adrenaline and how the shock of what's actually going on, it hurts after.
Where were you shot? Which part of the body? Where did the bullet
Oh, man, I got shot in my hand. My thumb came out of my hand.
Damn.
My face. Knocked the two.
Wow, oh my goodness, there's a hole there.
Yeah, it kind of changed my voice too, and this is the voice that sells.
Me too, bro. I didn't know you made
records,
you
so I
too.
think everything happens for a reason. The guy who actually shot me is dead. And the guy who paid him and got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
Yeah.
On May 24th, 2000, the up-and-coming rapper 50 Cent, who had made a name for himself in the streets of New York, was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's home in South Jamaica.
Hold on, Beezy, hold on. I gotta make you moderator real quick, bro. Hold on, Chad. I gotta make my boy moderator. And boom. Oh shit, where's that? Hold on. Oh, wrong one. Did I delete it? I probably did. No, I didn't. Hold on, bro. Make you moderator real quick. Alright, bet. Get back to the video. Said Biggie dead. Sad, bro. Sad. Tupac and Biggie died. That shit sad, bro. Start back over, chat.
What does it feel like to be shot? Is it a physical feeling?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt as much as people imagine it hurts because of your adrenaline and how the shock of what's actually going on, it hurts after.
Where were you shot? Which part of the body? Where did the bullet
Oh, man, I got shot in my hand. My thumb came out of my hand. My face. Knocked the two.
Wow, oh my goodness, there's a hole there.
Yeah, it kind of changed my voice too, and this is the voice that sells 8 million records, so I think everything happens for a reason. The guy who actually shot me is dead. And the guy who paid him and got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
Who the dude shot him?
On May 24th, 2000, the up-and-coming rapper 50 Cent, who had made a name for himself in the streets of New York, was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's home in South Jamaica, Queens. It all happened when 50 jumped in the car of his friend. His son was in the house.
I remember he from Jamaica, so he might know. Hey, do he know Haitian Jack? Haitian Jack and Jimmy Hitchens. You know all them? I wonder do he do.
And his grandmother was in the front yard. 50 was sitting in the back seat and handed over some jewelry to the driver.
Bros,
That's when the assailants got around the car and fired 9 shots at close range with a 9mm handgun.
This gun's still going on. You jumping around in the backseat of the car and shit. You don't know whether you're gonna get up out this bitch or not, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you in the rearview mirror looking at you got a hole in your face. You don't know if you're gonna hit that bullet. It's gonna kill you.
Nigga was a professional leg shooter. It was like bang, 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 bang on your legs. You can't kill a nigga like that.
50 was hit in the hand, arm, hip, legs, chest and left cheek, which resulted in a swollen tongue, the loss of a wisdom tooth and a slightly slurred voice. He was then driven to a hospital nearby, where he spent 13 days. The assailant, Daryl Harmo Baum, was killed 3 weeks after the shooting.
Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason.
Cause
he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't
Hold on, you beefing with Jimmy? Why you beefing with Jimmy? You said I'm the man, that's the song? Okay, but he was talking about damn.
breathing.
There were multiple reasons for the shooting, which I will touch on in this video.
I like to check.
Most importantly, the song Ghetto Quran, the beef with Ja Rule, and 50's disrespect towards a man named Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who was the man who put out the hits, and the main leader of the Supreme Team, which was a large crack-dealing organization that operated throughout the 80s in New York. The headquarters was in Paisley Park, South Jamaica, Queens, and they consisted of around 150 to 200 members, most known for drug trafficking, armed robbery, murder, and money laundering. It was originally formed
B-boy serious, ain't it?
by a group of teenagers that were part of the 5% Nation, also referred to as the Nation of Gods and Earth, which is a black nationalist movement influenced by Islam that was founded in 1964 in Harlem.
We gotta take, hey, my boy JJ in here, bro. We gotta take, that boy be knowing all the shit, so I'm believe my boy JJ. But I ain't know Tony smacked or something. I thought Jimmy was goddamn like that. I thought everybody in New York feared him. Oh shit, I ain't know that shit.
By a man who called himself Allah the Father, who had left the Nation of Islam and was previously known as Clarence 13X. In contrast to traditional Islam, gambling, drinking, and criminal activities are allowed under the 5% philosophy called mathematics. Supreme actually got his name from the first two lessons taught by the Nation of Gods and Earths, Supreme Mathematics and Supreme Alphabet, which they also used as a coded language and numerical system for communication. At its peak, the Supreme Team receipts exceeded $200,000 a day, and the gang regularly committed acts of violence and murder to maintain its stranglehold on the area's drug trade. They were feared and idolized in its Queens neighborhoods. To many growing up in these impoverished areas, the drug dealers represented the only tangible forms of success to which they had direct access.
I ain't gonna lie, 50 Cent. You like a goddamn rundown Pokemon, I ain't gonna lie.
Premed formed this organization in 1981 and was arrested in...
I ain't got... Hey, y'all Islam in here. I ain't got nothing against your twin. I believe in Jesus. I mean, I'm banging Jesus over here. God and Jesus over here. You know what I'm saying? I respect everybody's religion. Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But... You know what I'm saying? We bang Jesus over here. You know what I'm saying?
1987,
Hallelujah.
following a joint state and federal investigation. 2 years later, he pleaded guilty to engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise, sentenced to 12 years incarceration, of which he only served 7. So he was released on payroll in 1994, but all the money he made from drug trafficking was confiscated. He had done a lot of thinking during his time in prison. Over 100 members of the Supreme Team had been arrested and sent to jail at this point, including his right-hand man Prince, who was sentenced to 6 concurrent life sentences plus 20 years in 1993 for drug trafficking. Sitting alone in his cold jail cell, Supreme realized that the drug game is a dead end. He then had a vision of something different. He wanted to go legit and start making money legally by getting...
I ain't gonna lie, every time I see 5%, I be thinking they talking about the alcohol. I know I ain't the only one. When they say 5%, like you be seeing that shit on t-shirts shit, I be thinking they talking about like 5% alcohol or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or nicotine type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Into the entertainment industry.
Hell no.
His life changed when he became part of the label Murder Inc., which later on became 50's biggest enemy. Supreme first met Ja Rule and his boss Irv Gotti at the video shoot for the song Get the Fortune, back when Ja was still a part of the group Cash Money Clique, and still tried to hit the mainstream. Irv Gotti and Ja idolized the Supreme Team, which had a legendary status in Queens through everything they had accomplished in the 80s. And Preem was doing everything necessary to become a legit businessman. So he quickly became part of the Murder Inc. family.
Hell nah, he friends with Jay-Z. I already don't like him. I already don't like his ass. Oh, hell nah, man. Oh, my God! He friends with Jay-Z. I don't like him, man. Already. So, that what he talking about in the movie, Get Rich, Die Trying? I thought he talking about Jimi Hendrix in that, Get Rich, Die Trying. Because the dude did look like Jimi Hendrix. He don't look, I don't know.
They had a symbiotic relationship. Supreme was now getting paid, and in return he had Irv and Ja under his wing. Gave them protection, safety, solved their problems, and scared off the gangsters and street cats, while giving Ja and Irv street cred, cause nobody wanted to mess with the Supreme team. So they became close business partners. Murder Inc.'s offices were raided by the FBI in early 2003, and Preem faced accusations of drug trafficking and money laundering run by the Gaudis. So they were doing all types of businesses together.
Preem in the house. What up? You know, whole Murder Inc. family in this mother.
In 1999, Ja was robbed for his chain at gunpoint by a guy named Troy, who accused Ja of sleeping with his girlfriend while he was in jail. Troy ran away with the chain, and Ja called Supreme for help, who then promised to handle it. He ordered a man named Brown to get his chain back, and he did, within just 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh, same thing.
Like calls me back. 15, 20 minutes later, he's like, yeah, I got he's over here right now with me. You know what I'm saying? I got your chain. He just came back on the block. I took your chain from him. I got your chain. Right. And that was that.
Ja then shot a music video for the song Murder for Life on Jamaica Avenue. And 50 decided to pay him a visit and say what's up.
Chat, one thing, y'all think 50 Cent was hating on Ja Rule? Cause Ja Rule had some bangers now. I ain't gonna lie to him. I was rocking this shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know they were beefing though. I was rocking that guy. Your lips, your style, love it when you call me baby. I was rocking that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, that shit was hard.
As they're from the same neighborhood.
It's murder.
Supreme was there too, along with all the other Murder Inc. associates and everybody from the hood. They were all showing Ja Rule love while 50 was there by himself, almost like an outsider or someone who just passed by. Ja and Black Child from Murder Inc. said what's up to him and walked away. The same day they went to a party at Club Amazura and the two met again. But this time 50 had Troy with him, the guy who robbed Ja Rule for his chain.
A friend of mine's robbed Ja Rule. And I'm in a club. And I see the nigga, I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, chilling. He see me kicking it with the nigga that robbed him, and he feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't speak to this dude because I know the kid robbed him, but I know this kid, I grew up with him. And
so that I started. He was hanging with somebody that robbed Ja Rule. Okay, bet. Note to self, how the beat started. You know what I'm saying? All right, bet. We got where the beat started. Okay, bet. They still beef to this day, ain't it? God damn, they got them. That boy, you beef with 50, you gonna beef with that nigga for life. You know what I'm saying? That nigga he don't let shit go. What his sign is? He don't let shit go. You know what I'm saying?
He misinterpreted the conversation because he see me laughing and us talking, but he didn't know I grew up with the guy.
You're talking to a guy who you don't even know up this other guy.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they think you're in cahoots with this guy.
Yeah, because you see you laughing and talking, they figure you laughing and talking about them.
Say he was the next.
Ja Rule started acting weird once he saw those two together. He may have assumed.
Stop the cap.
That boy can never, boy. Yeah, now, Jerry. Yeah, now. I'm about to fall out with your ass. Let me find out you said this shit. What he said? He said in the interview. Let me find out. We gonna fall the fuck out.
That 50 had something to do with the robbery. 50 said what's up, and Ja was hesitant to read him back. This incident never happened, according to Ja. But Chris Gardy from Murder Inc. confirmed this. At least the part of them.
I was talking to you. Ooh, I know you fucking lying. Get your ass out. You just spamming that shit too. Hold on, twin. Hell no. Damn, I can't find her. Bitch. Hold on, Ted. Gotta get one out. Gotta go get my phone. That motherfucker trick. Oh, damn, I can't find her. Why the hell she ain't popping up on my phone? I can't see her. Well, fuck it. I'm gonna get your ass out of here with that shit. I don't even play like that.
Meeting again at the club. 50 allegedly got mad for being brushed off by the whole Murder Inc. crew, and for not getting enough attention. According to the Gardy brothers, 50's hatred came from jealousy. Seeing how much love he gets from everyone in the hood, while 50 was standing there like a fan.
So you still in his
According to 50's ex-manager, Chaz Slim Williams, his vendetta indeed originated when he got brushed off. That's when he deemed Murder Inc. his mortal enemy.
Who the fuck is you?
Whether it was true animosity or opportunism, a beef with Ja Rule could indeed help him to make a name for himself. And 50 wasn't shy about making his feelings known.
I'll tell you personally, the Murder Inc., the people that you see, like Irv, Ja, the people that are involved in the business aspect, it's like these niggas don't got no hood in them.
He had a conversation with Supreme, asking him for advice and what he should do against Ja Rule. And Supreme responded with, "Yo, leave this little fella alone. You know they pussy, but this is my food."
His idea is, yo, leave them alone, they are food.
50 agreed, but decided to record a Ja Rule and Murder Inc. diss track called Lives on the Line. The original version is not only more direct, but also contains lines about that chain robbing incident, in which he's sarcastically asking Ja why he got robbed in his own hood and why the person who took his chain is still alive and well.
Why you get jokes in your own hood? Why to rob you walk around like it's all good?
I gotta get trolls.
People say he was a little jealous of Ja Rule for getting co-signed by Supreme, one of his idols growing up. 50 was dealing drugs in his teens and was raised not necessarily under the Supreme team, but other drug kingpins like Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols and James Wall Corley, who were also cooperating with the team. He idolized every major drug dealer from Queens and saw himself as an offspring of that environment. He only knew Preem through his friend Black Just, who was one of the lieutenants of the Supreme team. But he never really got close with him, which made him envy and hate Ja Rule to a degree, cause he thought he was the realest, most authentic, the toughest, and offspring of all the street legends.
OGs look at me and see I'm what they used to be.
He wanted the Supreme team to get behind him as a rapper, and not Ja Rule, cause he was quote-unquote soft, fake, and not real. Just a studio gangster who's lucky enough to be around real people.
Alright, who y'all going with, Ja Rule or 50 Cent? Hold on, I'm gonna put that. Who y'all going with? I'm gonna put that in the chat. 50 Cent. Ja Rule. Hold on, I gotta remove this one then put this one up.
Someone who can't do anything without his gangster friends. That's why I mentioned Preem by name on the original version of Your Life's on the Line, to make fun of Ja for needing help to get his chain back.
Why you ready to bring Why you wanna post it? You know I put this back.
50 wanted to take down Murder Inc. and prove himself to everybody. Show that he's fearless, the toughest up-and-coming gangster rapper from Queens. Some say he tried to get Preem's approval and support, while others say he got pissed at him for supporting Ja. At first, Preem didn't really take him serious. To him, it was all just some little rapper bullshit. He told 50 to chill out and leave Ja alone, multiple times, tried to be the mediator. But 50 took the beef very serious. He was reckless, not afraid of controversy or consequences. But still, if one of your idols tells you to chill out and fall back, then you listen to him. So 50 decided to rewrite the song Lives on the Line, and take off the parts where he mentions Preem, the chain incident, and the Ja Rule name drops. The next incident that is relevant in our timeline is the shooting between rapper and drug trafficker E Moneybags, who was one of 50's closest friends at the time, and Supreme at the Coliseum Shopping Center in Queens on December 11th. Supreme had a woman working for him called Z, who had connections to other dealers to get people luxury cars at discount prices. E Moneybags gave Z $1,000 for.
That's a lot of drill dealing going on in this motherfucker, to be honest. God damn. I thought it was just music. Shit, it's just deeper than music. Damn, they feel like goddamn Biggie and Tupac all over again, to be honest.
A down payment. But then he got $2,500 from Mobb Deep's Prodigy and decided to get a better car. A Lincoln Navigator. So he asked Z to give him his money back, and she said, "You gotta take that up with Preem, cause he told me to not give you anything back." So Bags was like, "I gave the money to you. Why the hell do I have to speak to Preem? And why is he telling you to not give it back to me?" Supreme brushed Bags off like he was a punk. He knew that he was a stick-up kid, just like 50 Cent. Preem always looked down on thieves and wanted to teach E a lesson. Give him a taste of his own medicine. Let him understand how it feels to get things taken from you. So E Moneybags didn't get a refund. One day on December 11th, Bags came out the Coliseum Shopping Center in Queens and saw Preem in a Land Rover with a man named Black Just, who I mentioned earlier. He was close to 50 Cent and one of the 4 bosses of the Supreme team, sitting in the passenger seat right next to Preem. Baggs was known to resort to violence during disagreements. He had shot somebody from a rival gang called the Lost Boys in the eye and killed him prior to this incident. He was one of the few people who wasn't afraid of Preem, so he pulled out his gun without hesitation the moment he saw him, and shot multiple bullets into Preem's Land Rover trying to kill him. But he unintentionally hit Black Just, who he didn't even know was in the car. The bullets severed the major artery in the upper end of his thigh. Preem, on the other hand, was unscathed, tried to shoot back, but his gun was apparently jammed. Black Just died later on from his wounds because Preem drove 10 minutes away to the hood to ask one of his associates to drive him to the hospital instead of driving there directly to stop the bleeding as fast as possible. He didn't want to get questioned by the police, tried to avoid them at all costs. And that's why Black Just died of heart failure caused by the massive blood loss. He was like a big brother and mentor to 50. Kept him under his wing, taught him how to box, and was one of his earliest role models. Preem was enraged and wanted revenge for what just happened. He decided to put out a hit on E-Moneybags, who had to watch his back from this point on, cause Preem's shooters were out to get him. And he also suspected 50 Cent of having something to do with this, who on the other hand blamed Supreme for the death of Black Just. So 50 had lost a friend and was about to lose another one.
I'm grimy. Yeah, my friends kill my friends like Blackie. He did that shit to him.
50 stopped idolizing Preem at this point. The respect was still there, but he thought that Preem was partially responsible for the death of Black Just. He thought the whole situation was avoidable. And Preem also put out a hit on his friend E-Moneybags. All this for a measly $1,000. With a price on his head, E-Moneybags would then team up with several other drug dealers who also had beef with Supreme and wanted to go to war with him. The most infamous ones he reached out to were Big Nose Troy Singleton and Nate's Green-Eyed Born May, who was Supreme's original right-hand man turned rival, who told Prodigy from Mobb Deep to stay away from E-Moneybags to avoid getting involved in the war, cause he almost became part of it. I mean, he was the reason why Baggs wanted his money back. The three then caught Irv Gotti from Murder Inc. in the studio and slapped him up. They were trying to find Preem, and Preem's hitmen were looking for them. 50 Cent would later on join this coalition against Supreme, after things with Ja Rule got out of control and he was unable to squash the beef. 50 once said that him and Preem have too much in common to get along and to like each other. They had conversations all the time, but they were both stuck in their ways, stubborn and doing things their own way. When speaking with each other, Preem would try to son him, treat him like a little boy and rub his head. 50 never liked that.
Hey, Supreme, is he still alive? Y'all let me know, he's still alive? Or he in jail? Cause it look like he in jail right now. He in jail, he's still alive. Let me know.
The same to Preem, which is kinda weird and provocative cause Supreme is like 15 years older than him. But he also—
Let me get your ass out here since you said that shit. What the hell you talk to, nigga? Watch these nuts, how about that?
always reached out to him and told him to resolve the issue. Ja Rule and 50 Cent then met at the Swiss Hotel in Atlanta. They were booked by the same promoter to perform at the same venue on the same day. A man named Chaz Slim Williams, who's the founder of Black Hand Entertainment and the manager of 50 Cent at the time, spoke to Ja Rule and asked him if they can talk about the whole situation with 50 Cent and maybe squash whatever beef they had. Chaz was a well-respected OG who at this point didn't pick any sides, but just like Supreme, he wanted those two to make peace or at least stop getting on each other's nerves, so that both sides can continue making money without all the drama and hate that comes with it. Ja and 50 had a lot of respect for Chaz and agreed to talk it out privately, so they both walked off and spoke eye to eye. Ja Rule had a small baseball bat over his shoulder and was moving it around while he was talking. 50 kept an eye on it in case Ja Rule starts swinging on him, cause Ja was yelling the whole time, swinging the baseball bat around as if he's looking for a fight. He was pissed about the song Your Life's on the Line, told him that he should have talked to him directly like a man instead of dissing him on record. He was screaming so much that 50 couldn't take it anymore, so 50 ended up punching in his face. Ja took the punch and fought back. He pulled 50's shirt and put it over his head to block his vision, punched him while he was busy trying to pull the shirt back down. Ja then got help from two of his homies who saw the fight and came to his support, while 50 Cent's people were just standing there. They all swung on him. One guy even hit him with a baseball bat. But 50 managed to snatch Ja Rule's chain, which must have popped during the fight, and ran to the elevator with his friends. It was said that Ja Rule had a black eye after the fight and that 50 Cent didn't have any injuries. So he took the chain and then went to the video shoot for the Ja Rule diss song Your Life's on the Line, wearing the chain in the video to ridicule and belittle him.
Hold on. Well, we see the chain. Okay, big. So that Ja Rule chain. Okay,
Supreme then approached him once again, and 50 told him his side of the story. Said he tried to squash it, but had to defend himself, and that they ended up jumping him. Preem understood why it went down the way it did and couldn't blame him for it, but he still wanted Ja Rule's chain back. Remind you that this was the second time now that Ja asked him for help.
Damn, why you ran to Preem to get your shit back? Why you wanna approach me? Cause you know I put your shit back.
50 still respected Preem, so of course he gave him the chain back, but he got a gold watch in return. He even rapped about this on another Ja Rule diss track called Back Down, which came out 3 years later.
You's a Pop-Tart, sweetheart, you're soft in the middle. I eat you for breakfast, a watch was exchanged for your necklace.
Murder Inc. tried to blackball him, even back then, telling people in the industry that he can't rap, that he's whack, fake. Ja Rule made multiple phone calls trying to sabotage 50's career. He made it difficult for 50 to build relationships and tried to turn his fans and friends against him, which of course infuriated him. Every time 50 tried to respond or approach Ja, Preem intervened and stepped in, telling him to fall back, chill, and to leave Ja alone. One time he went to see Ja on the Coliseum block in Queens, when they were shooting a music video. 50 grabbed his pistol and went there on a motorcycle to see what it's about. Just like in most Ja Rule video shootings, Supreme was present to give support and protection. He saw 50 Cent across the street and knew that he was trying to find Ja Rule. So he called him from a distance and spoke to him, trying to hinder him from whatever he's planning to do. Pulled him to the side and said, "Don't do it." 50 was like, "What the hell is this problem, man?" And Supreme said, "Nah, I told you. Leave them alone, they ain't gonna do nothing." Out of respect for Preem, 50 left it alone once again. The beef partly existed because of Preem speaking up for Ja and 50 feeling rejected by him.
E2, appreciate subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that,
Give me a hell yeah!
Chaz and Supreme tried to iron things out and arrange a meeting for Ja and 50 to squash the beef. 50, even though he came to the building of the meeting, refused to sit down with them, thinking it would either get physical again or have an unsatisfactory outcome for him, as he was technically the person who made things escalate while having nothing to show off. I mean, he was quote-unquote the cloud chaser and Ja Rule the superstar. So they will tell him to stop doing what he does, and Ja Rule gets to do whatever he wants. They saw 50 as a little angry boy. He thought that he would be the only one who gets criticized. Everyone else was in their comfort zone. Ja had everything, and 50 didn't even have a career at this point. Murder Inc. continued to pull strings behind the scenes and put obstacles in 50's way, career-wise, despite Preem telling him that they'll do nothing. Him rejecting 50 really hurt his feelings. But Preem was just riding what he thought was the winning horse. He thought 50 had no future in rap and that Ja is the superstar, the money horse, the side that he has to pick if he wants to make millions. 50 also got mad at his manager Chaz for being cool with Ja. Everyone was cool, happy and satisfied except him.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know no goddamn hard like hard raps by Ja Rule. I just know all his goddamn the one with Alicia what her name? I about to say Alicia Keys. When the one with what her name is. All his little when he be singing with the women and shit. That's all I know. I don't know all his hard shit.
50 was the problem child, the little man in the situation. So he didn't go to the meeting to squash the beef, and the people who were supporting him and vouching for him, like Chaz for example, told 50 that he was on his own now. They parted ways after seeing that the beef won't get squashed anytime soon. The OGs who gave 50 Cent protection washed their hands off him and basically stopped holding back the wolves that were desperately trying to take his head. He was now marked for death.
Slim switch sides on me, let niggas ride on me. I thought we was cool, why you want me to die, homie?
50 joining Green Eyed Born's alliance against Preem might have partly been because of Chaz, who was actually the one that sold out Green Eyed Born to his ex-boss Preem, after Green Eyed stole some jewelry from him, even though he was his right-hand man. Chaz, of course, told him about this, and since then they're the biggest enemies. People say that that's the reason why Preem hated stick-up kids and thieves like E-Moneybags and 50, who in return felt abandoned by Chaz and thought that Preem was responsible for Black Just's death. So that might have been another reason why he joined Green Eyed Born and E-Moneybags in the war against Preem, and why he treated Chaz like an enemy. Cause Chaz never reached out to him, even after he got shot, and 50 to this day only spoke negatively about him, even after he passed. The next incident after the cancelled meeting was the stabbing in the Hit Factory recording studio on March 24th, 2000. The Murder Inc. camp and 50 Cent were in the same building but in different rooms. Ja heard about 50 being there from the Fugees member Pras and wanted to jump him, but he was on crutches because of an accident. He messed up his ankle on MTV. So Ja convinced them to go find 50 and attack him. Black Child joined in, but Ja himself didn't fight. 50 was in a different room with Tony Yayo.
Ja, you looking scary right now. You know what I'm saying? It was goddamn. You pulled the shirt on the top of his head for me. Like, you looking scary. I thought you could fight. You know what I'm saying?
DJ and 2 other people working on music. It took the Murder Inc. camp a while until they found them. But when they did, 50 was caught by surprise. The lights went off and the fight was so quick that 50 didn't even know what happened. Both sides threw punches, but Black Child stabbed everyone in that room, including 50, who was injured in the gut. They were even throwing studio equipment at each other. 50 hit Chris Gotti with a speaker, and the Murder Inc. camp left as fast as they came.
When I'm hearing all the commotion,
they got the goddamn table, TLC match in there. Goddamn, WWE in there. Latest SmackDown.
Then what happened? I come outside, and that's when I seen Fifth coming out. I'm like, what's up, bro? You alright? I'm alright, like that, and walked out.
One of the 4 bosses and the third in charge of the Supreme Team was actually in the same building that day. His name is James Anthony, also known as Bimmy. He saw 50 Cent when he was trying to leave the building, cause Bimmy was downstairs in a room with Mariah Carey. 50 and Ja were upstairs when the fight broke out. But Bimmy saw him when 50 came downstairs to leave.
I ain't gonna lie.
He didn't have anything to do.
He remind me of Tupac a little bit, like to my 50 Cent, not like bullying people type shit, but like he ain't give a fuck. Like if y'all beefing, he going straight at you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna
with Murder Inc. and had no clue what was going on. He actually had a cool relationship with him. Didn't get involved in the whole beef with Supreme. So 50 greeted him and went outside, trying to hide the fact that he's in pain from his stab wounds. The co-owner of the Source magazine, Benzino, then called the Atlantic Car Service for a cab and saved 50 Cent by letting him jump in and drive home safely. His grandma then cleaned the wound with peroxide, and then he went to the hospital the next day to avoid an infection. He got 3 stitches, some antibiotics, and that's it. Murder Inc. had to pay $250,000 for the hospital fees of those 5 that were injured. And the DJ actually reported it to the police. He got stabbed by just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, even though he had nothing to do with the beef. He was just there to engineer and produce. And that's where the restraining order came from.
Who the fuck did this picture right here? Y'all see that shit?
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. Why the fuck do this shit?
It was issued by the court after the DJ reported it to the police. Murder Inc. and Supreme thought that 50 was cooperating with the police, even though that's against the code of the streets. Irv and Chris Gotti got arrested for the attack, but got out due to 50 not showing up in court. They were not allowed to get close to 50 and the other 4 victims. Had to stay away at least 100 yards. The order of protection didn't include Ja Rule or members of the Supreme Team. Just Irv and Chris Gotti.
I'm looking at this.
The streets labeled 50 Cent a snitch, and 50 of course had a problem with this.
The moral of the snitch, you a snitch, you this is now. That's the worst thing you can be in the environment that I come up with.
Kenny, you said they lied on.
In an interview he said, if there's one thing that's not cool to be in the streets, it's a snitch. You sentence a guy to death when you call him that. People from Murder Inc. were showing off paperwork to prove that 50 and Tony Yayo had an order of protection and that they were suing them. According to Ja Rule, the case got dropped because 50 didn't want problems with his label. Supreme's influence on Murder Inc. was increasing. Irv Gotti was the boss of the label on paper, But when Preem walked through the room and said something, everyone listened. Maybe Irv was the boss in the Universal building. But Preem had the keys to it. Came and went as he chose. And people followed his orders. He started to take the music business more seriously and warned everybody in the industry. Never f*** with Murder Inc. He knew they were his meal tickets, so he was protecting his interests. To him, the 50 Cent thing was about nothing, but 50 wouldn't shut up. He's temperamental and says what he feels. I'm pragmatic and stick to facts that don't change every time I speak, Supreme said. And the existence of the order of protection was a fact. They had it on paper. So Preem started to think that 50 was cooperating with the cops and that he might be a snitch. And on top of that, Supreme got shot at a gas station and blamed 50 for it. Thought he was trying to kill him. He knew that 50 was close to his enemies, E Moneybags, Green Eyed Born and Big Nose Troy. Preem thought that they were out to get him. This was also around the time the infamous Ghetto Quran song got leaked online, even though it was supposed to be released on July 4th with 50's debut album Power of the Dollar under Columbia Records. It came out at a very vulnerable time for Preem. 50 was just getting on his nerves with everything he did. Every week there was a new problem related to him. He was deemed a snitch because of the order of protection, and now out of nowhere we get a song where he essentially names all the big drug dealers, kingpins, hustlers and gangsters in Queens, who are partially still active in the streets.
I ain't gonna lie, 50 Cent, you had order of protection against him. I don't know about that, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep it street. You know what I'm saying?
The intention was to pay homage to street legends and some of his idols, but they took it differently and accused him of violating the code of the streets, saying that he was cooperating with the police and getting everyone in trouble, doing work for the FBI, which was already investigating.
And they wouldn't say nothing to me though. You had a problem later when law enforcement started to hold on to the record.
Preem said, and I quote, "I never called him a snitch. I said his behavior could be construed as dry snitching. I was referring to his contact with federal agents and him telling them to listen to his lyrics, because law enforcement was starting to hold on to that records and asking 50 if he could elaborate and tell them what he knows about all the gangsters he named on Ghetto Quran. But 50 brushed them off and said, listen to the record. Supreme interpreted that statement as,
like, I'm with you. I like his personality and shit. Like, he funny as hell though. Like, music wise, I like cover songs like In the Club. You know what I'm saying? Mini Man. That about it for me. You know what I'm saying? That about 2 songs for me. You know what I'm saying?
Use my record as evidence if you want to lock them up. Supreme abandoned peacemaking efforts after realizing that 50 was a quote-unquote Asian provocateur that vividly chronicled the South Jamaican crack trade and cooperated with the police. Supreme felt...
He said that shit so damn fast, it confused the fuck out of me. What? Hold on, twin. I don't even know what that fuck, all that shit even mean. Hold on, twin. What you say? Go back.
It as evidence if you want to lock them up. Supreme abandoned peacemaking efforts after realizing that 50 was a quote-unquote Asian provocateur that vividly chronicled the South Jamaican crack trade and cooperated with the police. Supreme felt like he shouldn't have aired the dirty laundry, to which 50 responded with, if I'm a snitch, then who got locked up? Now, he doesn't like that I'm airing dirty laundry. He done put the laundry out on the line. I don't like none of them old folks. Their whole style is obsolete. Supreme then added, when we was coming up, there was a code of conduct. You didn't speak about dudes who may still be in the streets. Kid, you've never been through nothing. I was around wolves, man. I walked among giants. Preem just felt provoked and disrespected. First he ignored his peacemaking efforts and him saying stay away from Ja. Then he dissed him, stole his chain and posed around with it in videos. And now he's exposing every drug dealer from Queens while telling his fans that he will destroy Murder Inc., which he labeled as a group of studio gangsters. Again, Preem was part of the Murder Inc. family. Every beef Ja Rule had, Preem took it onto himself. 50 also had an alliance with E Moneybags, Green Eyed Born and Big Nose Troy, who were all trying to kill Supreme. All the OGs and street legends were...
Y'all remember that BT beef? What's it called? Real beef? What's it called? Beef? They ain't have all this. Did they have all this in here? Because I don't remember all this in the beef shit.
Turning his back on him. Supreme felt like he had more than enough reasons to do something about it, thinking 50 might get him locked up or ruin his business if he continues. 50 argued that everything he revealed on Ghetto Quran was already in the book Cop Shot, which was available in the library. But this is untrue, because there are names in the song that weren't mentioned in the book. He also said that everything was in the newspapers and already publicly known, but they took it differently. DJs would get beaten up and threatened for playing that records, told to not promote it or put it on mixtapes. The streets obeyed and 50 was labeled a snitch. No recording studio in America would let him record in their facility. That's why he went to Canada to record music.
You know, people look at it and go, well, he wasn't supposed to say that about me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to take hip hop to being like back to when we were a little more competitive. Now it's to the point where the artist is even scared to say your name. Like,
people were too scared to drop names on songs, mainly because of the East Coast West Coast war. And 50 wanted to revolutionize the rap game with songs like How to Rob, in which he called out like 50 people, dissing dozens of MCs to get their respect. Ghetto Quran was like the street version of it. First he got the respect from the industry, and now he wants the respect from the streets. By being the first MC who has enough courage to rap about the Supreme Team and other highly respected drug dealers, as if he's an associate or somebody who has witnessed everything firsthand. Basically throwing his name into the mix as somebody who deserves the same level of respect as the people mentioned. Pointing his finger at every major drug dealer and associate of the Supreme Team on one of the greatest and most sensational...
Y'all think 50 Cent a snitch? Let me know. We need... Damn, dude, they got a rat emoji on here? No, I don't think they do. Y'all think he drop rat in the comment?
Hip-hop records ever. 50 tried to lure Ja Rule into a battle by airing out Supreme's legacy on his...
Lord have mercy. Hey, ain't that the Biggie wife with girlfriend? Ain't the Biggie girlfriend? I know they knows. You know what I'm saying? I ain't good with people's name, but I know they knows and shit. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Song, not knowing that he would get shot for it.
Damn, I can't find these kind of watches nowhere. You remember everybody used to have these watches back in the early 2000s? Can't find them.
He thought Preem would just make him respond on records after being fed up with him. Cause before that, Ja felt like he's too big to address him. Supreme even sent out a message telling 50 to stop rapping about him. He was a nuisance and a pest to him. Can you believe the nerve of this little mother? 50's audacity made him a serious threat. A quote-unquote dry snitch who would cause drama and do everything for attention. Somebody who just doesn't care about anything or anyone and doesn't know when to stop.
I knew that was Biggie girlfriend. Damn. Can't trust these motherfuckers, but you die, shit, they move on to the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Murder, I don't believe you murder. Crime leave you murder.
Okay. Every time Preem and Murder Inc. turned around, 50 was there taunting them, questioning their manhood and their street cred.
I was right.
Preem was afraid that 50 would destroy or harm Ja Rule's career and slow down their money, which means he was a threat for his business and also for their reputation on the streets. Cause Supreme didn't tolerate any form of disrespect, especially not from a kid. 50 could become a serious problem once he gets a larger following. Preem also felt physically intimidated by him.
Someone, you know, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction.
She was Bad Boy, then she was Murder Inc.
You don't have to address a rapper with killing him.
Get it out.
With shooting him, you know what I'm saying, 9 times. Rapper says something you don't like, you hit him over the head. You know what you're going to do? You're going to write a rap about it.
50 was one of the few people who never showed fear in Preem's presence.
Which one?
He just didn't seem to care, as if he wasn't one of the most respected, feared and idolized people in Queens. Every time he went at Ja, he subliminally told Preem that he doesn't respect him enough to stay away from his associates and business partners. You got the impression that he'll attack anybody if he wants, and that nobody can tell him what to do.
I remember Preem coming to the block one day and try to like sun 50 and rub his head, and 50 rubbed his head. And Preem, and that was the day I know Preem didn't like 50. Preem, dude, you know the old school. You know what 50 did?
Too?
Yeah, man.
Do it back, yeah.
You know what the block did?
Yeah, that's what
There's only 4 things that I know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50.
Yes, Preem didn't get
E-Money Bags.
Get like
Homo. And Big Nose Troy.
He might have been dead. Why?
Supreme was afraid of the consequences of what may happen if the song blows up or helps the FBI with their investigations. They were desperately trying to get him back in. He also felt physically threatened and still wanted retaliation for Black Just, after finding out that 50 joined the coalition between Just's killer E Moneybags, Big Nose Troy, and Preem's right-hand man turned rival Green-Eyed Born. Both sides were in a war and put out hits on each other. Irv Gotti got smacked up by the 3 gentlemen I just mentioned, and 50 was just desperately asking for trouble, not listening to advices and orders from OGs, and continuing to go at Cha. So Supreme decided to get rid of him and put out a hit on all 4, $25,000 a head. The hitmen were told to kill them on sight. 50 was the first to get hit on May 24th, 2000, but he survived. E Moneybags was shot on July 16th, 2001 by 4 hitmen, and Big Nose Troy Singleton was killed the same year on October 28th. Green-Eyed Born got away and was never found. For the hit on 50, Preem paid the assailant Daryl Harmo.
What the fuck Mike Tyson? He always in some damn shootings and shit. The fuck? Mike Tyson, what the hell you got going on? Biggie Tupac, now you in this one? Damn, you just everywhere. You said Spring got life for killing 50 boy E Moneybag. Okay, bet Larry. We miss you over here, man. Hope everything alright.
Baum, who was Mike Tyson's close friend and bodyguard, to get the job done. And 3 months after the leak of Ghetto Quran, on May 24th, 12 p.m., 50 was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's house, while he was in the back seat of his friend Curtis Brown's car, which was parked right in front of the house. The driver was waiting there with his girlfriend. When 50 got out the house, he checked if there's anything out of the ordinary. But everything seemed fine, so he hopped in the car. The driver then wondered where his diamond cross pendant was. 50 had left it in the house, but the driver wanted him to get it so he can wear it. 50 then hopped out the car to get the chain along with a gun, in case they run into some problems due to the flashiness of the jewelry. He saw a car ease up the block when he got out the house, but didn't think much of it. So he got back in the car, and the assailant got out at the same time. He then approached 50, who then felt him come over his shoulder, but he didn't see him. Harmo was going around the car. When 50 handed his driver the jewelry, the shooter sneaked up from the left side and fired shots. 50 jumped and felt his leg burning. He fell back down while Harmo was still shooting. A bullet tore into his face and he thought his mouth exploded. Another slug blew up his hand before the driver finally pulled off. They immediately rushed to the hospital where he spent the next 13 days. He had wounds in his hand, arm, hip, legs, chest and left cheek, which resulted in a swollen tongue, the loss of a wisdom tooth, and a slightly slurred voice. His legs were also broken. His friend only got shot in the hands and left the hospital the same day. Chaz Slim didn't reach out or check on him, so 50 assumed that he knew about the shooting. Irv Gotti, on the other hand, sent a flurry of messages.
This sound like some damn Tupac quad shooting shit. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, dude, it sound like a rerun.
Messages allegedly within 30 minutes of the shooting, asking how many times 50 got shot and if he was killed. Preem then had a meeting with Harmo and the people in the car. 3 weeks later, on June 10th, 2000, Harmo was shot and killed in a drug war with Damian World Hardy. 50 had nothing to do with the shooting. Harmo was shot in the back of the head and died immediately. The shooter Damian World Hardy was accused of committing more than 6 murders as well as racketeering. He was once engaged to the rapper Lil' Kim. Mike Tyson then dedicated the fight to his fallen friends and allegedly put up 50.
They had to go ahead and call it. Lil' Kim been with everybody. They had to go ahead and call that shit. Fuck. Damn, Lil' Kim. These girls did be passed around drug dealers, rappers, baseball players, basketball. Say she might well put a soccer team in there. You know what I'm saying? At this damn point.
$50,000 for a hit on the Brooklyn gang Cash Money Clique, which Damian World was a part of.
I dedicate this fight to my brother, Daryl Baum, who died. I'll be there to see you. I love you with all my heart.
The same man that killed Harmo then tried to shoot 50 Cent and his crew in the year 2003 for dissing Lil' Kim on the radio when he was talking about their collaboration on the song Magic Stick. Then in 2015, Damian World Hardy got a life in prison sentence.
It's fiance of Lil' Kim sentenced too. God damn, Lil' Kim.
For 6 murders. But back to our topic. After getting shot 9 times and being rushed to the hospital, Murder Inc. was still not done sabotaging 50's career. Supreme made sure that his debut album, Power of the Dollar, never saw the light of day, even though it was supposed to be released on July 4th. There are even rumors of Supreme being responsible for the murder of Jam Master Jay on October 30th, 2002.
Not Grandmaster Jay? Oh, hell nah.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
I know one thing, I ain't going to New York. Y'all y'all violent up there. Yeah, nah, I ain't going to New York. Ooh, y'all snake motherfuckers, all type of shit. Oh, fuck no. I thought goddamn, you know what I'm saying, LA was bad. Y'all better than LA. Y'all don't give a damn.
Because 50 was signed to Jay's record company between 1996 and 1999, and people thought Supreme had a problem with that, even though he had no clue that Jam Master Jay had signed him back then.
He did? He called himself
That was years before the beef. Supreme was actually cool with him, and had a lot of love and respect for him. 50 wasn't even signed to him anymore when the beef started or when he got shot, cause he got a deal with Columbia in 1999. They paid him $65,000 in advance, of which he gave $50,000 to Jam Master Jay, to release him from the label and to get out of the contract.
I was signed to Jam Master Jay at JMJ Records, and I didn't really see myself going any further from like in that situation. Jam Master Jay deal was like
360.
Me paying for learning.
I got $65,000 in advance from Columbia. $50,000 went to Jam Master Jay to negotiate the release from JMJ Records. $10,000 went to the attorney that drew the contracts up between me and Columbia and the release between me and Jam Master Jay. They left me with $5,000, and I was out there for over a year before the record came out. So I was back selling crack.
Damn.
He had no involvement in 50's career afterwards. Supreme had no reason to get him killed, even if he knew about it. That's just a silly rumor that people keep spreading for the past 2 decades. I mean, Black Justin Bimmy from the Supreme team were cool with 52, even though they were working for Preem. So he didn't just put out hits on people because they were cool with him in the past.
I never knew he was signed to Jay. I never knew he was signed to Jay. I mean, I knew Jay used to mess with him, or he was his prodigy, but I didn't know nothing about it as far as his business ends, or if he was signed to him, or anything like that. Jay was cool. I never had a beef with him. Like, everything I know about Jay is just knowing, hearing about him in the hood, you know what I'm saying? And everything I knew about Jay was a cool dude.
When 50 got shot, he was dropped from the record label Columbia. Jam Master Jay didn't help him at all when that happened.
Man, I got shot, you gonna drop me? Damn, they don't give a fuck in the music industry. I get shot at, you gonna drop me from the label? Ain't they supposed to boost my regular, I don't know, this shit backwards. Like, if I get shot, ain't they supposed to boost my record sales? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I mean, he could have just signed him again if they really had that type of relationship. If he did, then you could make an argument. But it was all just business to him. Took the $50,000 to release him from the label and kept it moving. 50 had no money back then. From the $65,000 he received, he only kept $5,000 in the end. And that was supposed to keep him alive until his album drops a year later.
Hello.
He was a struggling...
Was he a sacrifice?
artist and admitted that he went back to selling crack after that. Cause $5,000 are obviously not enough to feed you for a whole year. Jam Master Jay could have helped him in that situation, but he didn't. The Supreme team set 50 back not only through his physical injuries but also business-wise, blackballing him for the next couple of years. Several labels were threatened not to sign him or put out his records. Same goes for DJs and recording studios. Nobody was allowed to help him. For 50 Cent, getting dropped on the label was worse than...
I know you fucking lying, 50 Cent. God damn, that shit big as fuck, twin. God damn, you got some big head teeth. God damn, boy.
Getting shot. After his recovery, 50 said he tried to kill Supreme. Waited for him in a 1993 Dodge Caravan with 3 hubcaps, in front of Supreme's grandmother's house in Baisley Projects. He even slept in it, waiting for Preem to come, but he never showed up. He said that Preem made him paranoid, that he couldn't walk around unless he had a bulletproof vest and a pistol on him. He, quote-unquote, wanted to blow Preem's head off 12 o'clock in the afternoon in front of his grandmother's house, the same way they did it to him. But anyway, let's take a look at the song Ghetto Quran and find out what exactly the problem was.
Yo, when you hear talk of the
outside, you hear talk of the team. Fear Prince and respect the Prince.
50 wastes no time and gets straight to the topic, mentioning the Supreme Team in the first line of verse 1. He name-dropped the two leaders of the Supreme Team, Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the man who put out the hit on 50, and his nephew Gerald Prince Miller, who was known as the Killer, responsible for the security force, keeping an eye on his rivals and potentially disloyal team members. And of course he also had to take over when Supreme was incarcerated. Helped to reorganize the gang, but people knew him mainly for doing the dirty work.
For you slow motherfuckers, I'ma break it down iller. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
Supreme mainly focused on the business and only used violence when absolutely necessary. He himself wasn't a killer, but he would put out hits on people, like the rapper E Moneybags on July 16th and Big Nose Troy Singleton on October 28, 2001, for which he was convicted in federal court 6 years later in 2007, along with racketeering, narcotics trafficking, and engaging in illegal financial transactions with drug money. Although facing death penalty for this conviction, he was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Damn.
But that wasn't the first time he went to prison. In 1987, he got locked up for narcotics possession, leaving his 2-year younger nephew and right-hand man Gerald Prince Miller in power on the outside. Supreme was always seen as the negotiator and the brain of the organization, but now Prince was forced to take over for him and keep the business running. He solidified his control by increasing the security force and employing it against rivals and team members suspected of disloyalty. He hired the brothers Knowledge and Shannon as his lieutenants, and appointed Puerto Rican Righteous as one of his top enforcers. C-Just, Big C, Pookie, Ace and Shannon formed the security team. Their weaponry consisted of AR-15s, MAC-10s, 9s, 45s, 357s and techs. They would jump out of minivans like Black Ops in army fatigues. When people on the block saw them, they would start running and scrambling, praying that the gun thugs weren't coming for them. Prince was infamous for making witnesses disappear, and always wearing a bulletproof vest and a baseball cap everywhere he went, driving a tricked-out James Bond-enhanced bulletproof BMW. Compared to Supreme, he relied more on violence. Although no slaying was ever tied back to him,
a little checkerboard in the background, we ain't gonna say, we know what that means.
Bodies began piling up at an even faster clip until Prince got arrested in March 1990. In 1987 alone, Prince ordered at least 8 homicides. He was ultimately sentenced in 1993 to 6 consecutive life terms for drug trafficking. When Supreme was on top, they generated up to $200,000 daily, selling crack and cocaine at Baisley projects. After Prince took over, they sold the yellow top vials of crack in and outside of Baisley projects, making almost $500,000 monthly.
Had the whole projects working for 50 or 500 as a youth. All I ever did was sell crack.
The Supreme Team met the dealers in the projects on a payroll, where they earned $50 for every $500 worth of crack sold. 50 was one of those boys selling crack when he was younger. He even got arrested for selling crack and heroin. He then mentions 2 more drug dealers, Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols and Howard Pappy Mason.
I used to idolize Cat. Hurt me to my heart to hear that snitched on Pat. How you go out like that?
Fat Cat was the biggest drug dealer of South Jamaica in the early 80s, and the leader of the Southside drug gang 7 Crowns, who supplied the Supreme Team with powder cocaine, supposedly obtained through his connection with the Italian Mafia. He was arrested in 1985 for the murder of his parole officer Brian Rooney, and pleaded guilty in 1992. He ordered 2 of his lieutenants, Howard Pappy Mason and Chris Williams, for the killing. The former was arrested but beat the case and was released 3 years later in 1988. He went back in just 10 days later. Pappy became the most feared man on the streets in the 80s and ran a drug smuggling gang called the Bebos in Jamaica, Queens, which made around $200,000 profit per month. He was hired by Fat Cat as his muscle for $1,000 per week and was his chief enforcer. At its peak, Fat Cat's organization generated $20 million annually in drug sales. Another incident that's relevant here is the murder of New York rookie cop Edward Bryan in 1988, which Pappy Mason ordered while he was still behind bars, on gun charges sentenced to 7 years in prison. Philip Mason, Scott Cobb, Todd Scott, and David McClary shot the man for $2,000.
We know one thing, folks. These all Jamaican people. Them Jamaican motherfuckers in New York, they do not play. You know what I'm saying? That boy murdered his parole officer. That was his parole officer? God damn, you gonna motor.
Each. But they all got caught and got 25 to life. The murder led to increased law enforcement attention and conviction on various charges. On December 11th, 1989, Mason was convicted on federal charges, including the murder of Officer Bryan. He was given a life sentence in 1994. 50 mentioned this again in the second verse.
He said it. Hold on. Go back to war. Hold on, he said parole off. I'm gonna go all the way back. I probably did miss it. Ain't gonna lie.
He then mentions two more drug dealers, Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols and
I ain't gonna lie, 50 Cent, you look like a sneak right now. I ain't gonna lie. You missing people's names and shit. Like, come on, twin. You know what I'm saying?
Howard Peppy Mason.
I used to idolize Cat. Hurt me to my heart to hear that snitched on Pat. How you go out like that?
Fat Cat was the biggest drug dealer of South Jamaica in the early 80s, and the leader of the Southside drug gang Seven Crowns, who supplied the Supreme Team with powder cocaine, supposedly obtained through his connection with the Italian Mafia. He was arrested in 1985 for the murder of his parole officer Brian Rooney and pleaded guilty in 1992. He ordered two of his lieutenants, Howard Peppy Mason and Chris Williams, for the killing. The former was arrested but beat the case and was released 3 years later in 1988.
Oh, he beat the case.
He went back in just 10 days later. Peppy became the most feared man on the streets in the 80s.
How you beat the case and go right back in? Oh, Lord Jesus.
And ran a drug smuggling gang called the Bebos in Jamaica, Queens, which made around $200,000 profit per month. He was hired by Fat Cat as his muscle for $1,000 per week and was his chief enforcer. At its peak, Fat Cat's organization generated $20 million annually in drug sales. Another incident that's relevant here is the murder of New York rookie cop Edward Bryan in 1988, which Peppy Mason ordered while he was still behind bars, on gun charges sentenced to 7 years in prison. Philip Mason, Scott Cobb, Todd Scott, and David McClary shot the man for $2,000 each. But they all got caught and got 25 to life. The murder led to increased law enforcement attention and his conviction on various charges. On December 11th, 1989, Mason was convicted on federal charges, including the murder of Officer Bryan. He was given a life sentence in 1994. 50 mentioned this again in the second verse. His former partner Fat Cat was rumored to have cooperated with the police.
I think he was in GTA. What it was? GTA? Was it GTA 4? That Jamaican dude? Yeah.
In their prosecution of Peppy Mason, in a secret session in which a plea was entered after Cat was transported.
Get him, bro.
Ooh. That shit gonna be on my damn mind. I ain't gonna lie. Now y'all, yep, that was him. Yep, I knew it. But damn, boy, I'm smart, boy. Thought his name Pappy. Yep, that was him. Damn. Shit they put in games you don't realize a year later. Yeah, hold on, they go back. Hold on, I gotta go back real quick. What that one picture I seen? We had them damn glasses on. Was he in court? I think it was him in court.
Later, Peppy became the most feared man on the streets in the 80s and ran a drug smuggling gang.
Damn, what is that? Yeah. Well, yeah. They put him in the game. Okay. But they changed the name. Okay, bet.
Gang called the Bebos in Jamaica, Queens, which made around $200,000 profit per month. He was hired by Fat Cat as his muscle for $1,000 per week and was his chief enforcer. At its peak, Fat Cat's organization generated $20 million annually in drug sales. Another incident that's relevant here is the murder of New York rookie cop Edward Bryan in 1988, which Pappy Mason ordered while he was still behind bars, on gun charges sentenced to 7 years in prison. Philip Mason, Scott Cobb, Todd Scott and David McClary shot the man for $2,000 each, but they all got caught and got 25 to life. The murder led to increased law enforcement attention and his conviction on various charges. On December 11th,
Yeah. It's confirmed. We confirmed. Okay, that's all I want to do. Confirm that. Okay,
cell to the US courthouse. He quote-unquote snitched on Pappy Mason for lighter sentences for himself and his family. He was already serving a 25 to life sentence stemming from drug convictions in state court, and in 1992 he pleaded guilty to ordering Officer Brian Rooney's murder and was sentenced to a term of 25 years to life in prison for his role in the crime. He was also given a 40-year sentence in connection with federal racketeering, murder and narcotic convictions. Pappy got life in prison, and people, including 50 Cent, lost respect for Fat Cat for turning into a snitch.
I used to idolize Cat. Hurt me to my heart to hear that nigga snitched on Pat. How'd he go out like that?
Rumors in the hood was just for snitching. I ain't believe that, Pa.
Then he mentions Colbert Black Just Johnson, who was a Supreme Team lieutenant close to Rich Porter, AZ and Alpo. I mentioned him earlier in the video, high in rank, the number 4 of the Supreme Team, after Preem, Prince and Bimmy. He got shot and killed by E Moneybags on December 11th, 1999. It is said that he made around $20,000 to $30,000 every day and took care of the Supreme Team members financially, as they went in and out of jail fighting their cases or did their time in prison. Blackie was very involved in the mid-80s and 90s hip-hop scenes, going to all the parties and events, hanging out with all the rap superstars. He was like 50's older brother. Got him his first GSXR motorcycle. He also financed a boxing gym and encouraged 50 to box when he was younger. He was like 15 when he became part of the boxing program. Black Just also had a large variety of vehicles, like a Toyota 4Runner SUV with a customized Gucci interior, 2 BMWs 3 and 5 Series, a Nissan Z sports car, and also jet skis, which he allowed 50 to use. He kept him under his wing, even though Supreme never seemed to like it.
You ain't want to buy no land in it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. Fuck they showing off. Shout about some land. You know what I'm saying? Got the fuck on.
But people were saying that Just is a snitch, and 50 put these lines in here to honor and defend him. He starts naming some of the lesser known members of the Supreme Team, like Gerald Wallace for example, saying that it's very easy for him to name every drug dealer from Queens. The little ones, the ones that are putting the strings in the background, staying low profile, and also the bigger ones that everybody knows about, like Troy Baby Wise Jones for example, who was another Supreme Team lieutenant that was down since day one, a killer, and one of the 4 bosses of the Supreme Team, along with Prince, Bimmy and Black Just, someone who allegedly shot another crew member called Green Eyed Born in the leg for having a disagreement with Supreme. The story goes that he stole some jewelry from Preem and tried to sell it to Chaz Slim Williams, who later on became 50's manager. Chaz of course told Preem about it, cause else he would have put his life in danger. And like I explained earlier in the video, Green Eyed Born became one of Supreme's biggest enemies, even though he was his right-hand man from the get-go. Baby Wise allegedly made around $20,000 to $30,000 a day and was a Supreme loyalist and supporter who answered to no one but himself. He has ducked all the big cases by always knowing when to cut out from the scene. It is said that he was always secretive, never talked business on the phone, didn't take photos or go out to parties, preferred to stay low profile and in the shadows. one of the most intelligent members of the team. His word and advice was highly respected. People always listened when he talked. His whereabouts are unknown, currently free and living his life, staying low profile and out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Then he mentions two lesser known members, LA and Wise.
Don't be surprised at how freely I throw our names of guys who dealt with pies like LA and Wise.
It's not for certain who 50 is addressing here. There are multiple people with the nickname Wise that are associated with the Supreme Team, like Lawrence Wise McGriff, for example, who was the nephew of Preem. He served 16 years in prison from 1987 to 2003 for murder, manslaughter, various drug and weapon charges, and is now the Vice President of Marketing and Promotion and also Vice President of A&R for Universal Def Jam Records. He also confirmed that 50 Cent's Ghetto Quran actually got people locked up, which 50 of course denies to this day.
Ghetto Quran was a beautiful song, but that same song is getting motherfuckers locked up.
I gotta go listen to it.
There's another man called Wise, who's Prince's older brother and a nephew of Preem. His name is Daryl Miller, but he wasn't a hustler. People label him as a disappointment and quote-unquote complete fuck-up. He was a crack addict that stole $200,000 to $300,000 of his brother's money while he was in prison. Whatever Prince had left, his brother wasted it all on drugs. With cases mounting up, the team needed money as fast as possible.
Man, you know this shit.
And that's what led to the infamous story that 50 mentioned in the following lines. The Supreme Team member Gus Rivera had connections to Colombian cocaine suppliers.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how I feel about 50 Cent, but you don't got them boys locked up. You know what I'm saying? They damn sure took notes. They probably had the whole rap sheet and everything. Taking notes. Oh yeah, okay, he does this. He do this. He do. Okay, he got this. We gonna watch him. We gonna put surveillance on that person. Like, I don't know, bro. 50 Cent, you gotta lost my respect, bro. I ain't gonna lie, low key. Shit.
And one of the security workers of the team, called Pookie, came up with a plan to ambush them. They had done many transactions with the Colombian pair Fernando and George, so they were taken completely unaware. Pookie assembled a crew of the team's toughest members, including C Just, Puerto Rican Righteous, and Big C, to help execute the plan. Prince gave them the order to take out the Colombian suppliers over the prison phone. Puerto Rican Righteous gathered the entire Supreme Team security force at Baisley Projects, telling them that there'll be a major transaction the next day. Gus Rivera was shocked when he found out that the suppliers were about to get murdered. When Fernando and George showed up with their duffel bag of cocaine, C Just, Shannon and Pookie then allegedly led the Colombians up to apartment 3K that Pookie was renting. They forced those two to get on the ground and tied their hands with rope. A dresser was pushed up against the door to block anyone from entering. The Colombian supplier Fernando then begged them to just take the cocaine and let him go. Pookie then smacked him in the head with a gun to shut him up. C Just then instructed Puerto Rican Righteous and Shannon to go downstairs and see if anyone was waiting for them outside. They saw a pair of Hispanic-looking men sitting in a car and brought them inside the apartment. Righteous then left the room after they struggled to come up with a method of murdering the entire group. But then the Supreme Team enforcer Big C arrived, and his presence alone spurred the team to take action. The Colombians were strangled with ropes and beaten with hammers. Puerto Rican Righteous then talked with Prince on the phone and told him that they obtained 5 kilos of cocaine, even though they expected 10. So 50 Cent made a little mistake here. They only stole 5 bricks instead of 10. The bodies were then put in bags and tied with ropes, in order to keep them in place, loaded up in the blue Ford Taurus and dumped at a series of locations all just blocks away from Baisley Projects. But everything was falling apart. The whole team was about to go down. So Prince needed more money. He then set up another mission for his crew. The suppliers murdered by the Supreme Team were Colombians, not Dominicans. They connected with new Colombian suppliers, Fernando Suarez and Pablo Perlaza. Prince met a cocaine dealer called Jaime Padro on Rikers Island, who introduced C Just, the enforcer of the team, to those suppliers. But they only brought 2 kilos, even though they expected and needed more. C Just then pulled out a gun and accused the suppliers of being cops or informants. The team then tied the hands and the feet of the Colombians with black electrical tape and put plastic bags over their heads. They were then trying to gasp for air. The team made fun of the way they sucked the bags into their mouths while they were trying to breathe.
God damn.
While the two suppliers were suffocating, Pookie beat their heads in with a baseball bat. Gus Rivera, the guy who had connections to the Colombians, got nervous after that.
These motherfuckers didn't play no goddamn game, but god damn. Tie me up. You ain't goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Beat me with a baseball bat. You know what I'm saying? Hurt. God damn. You say you rolling with Jai? Shit, me at this damn point. God damn, what?
And the team was worried about his knowledge and his nervousness about the murders, as he had started to wear a bulletproof vest everywhere he went. They thought he would be a liability, so Big C put a .44 Magnum to Rivera's head and fired. But he miraculously survived and was treated.
I need to know who the fuck made it cool to have suits in the club. Who made that cool? I know y'all hot as hell in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying, twin? That shit get me hot and I got my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at motherfucker in the club with bottles with hot ass suits on. That shit making me hot. You know what I'm saying? Who made that cool? Y'all let me know for all the old school cats. You know what I'm saying?
At the Mary Immaculate Hospital on 89th Avenue in Jamaica. He then tried to go into hiding, but the team followed him back to his girlfriend's home at the Jade East Motel, where they forced her to tell him in which room he's hiding. They took her key and killed him on the spot.
Damn.
Pookie was shot in the hand that day. He ended up stumbling down the stairwell. Droplets of his blood hit the floor, and the cops used it as evidence linking the crew to the killing. James Blimmy Anthony was one of the 4 crew bosses and the 3rd in charge of the Supreme team. He ran things when Supreme and Prince were behind bars. Bimmy, as well as Black Just, were close to 50 since his teens. They both stayed out of the Murder Inc. beef, but they're both known to be
Let me see. Y'all say Superfly? Ain't that some movie? I know you fucking lying. I thought they were damn Chris Brown for a minute. Hold on, what's the real picture? I know this ain't the real picture. What? Is that your name, real Superfly? So this Superfly. Which one? Who is Superfly? This. Okay, these two look. Okay, it might be Superfly right here. Okay, bet.
down with the hip-hop scene since day one. Bimmy ran with Run DMC, Russell Simmons, and LL Cool J when they were still rapping on the block. Wasn't known to bust his gun or use violence, but he has always been a serious money getter and hustler. His crew controlled several drug spots in and around Baisley projects, and made almost $20,000 to $30,000 every other day selling crack and cocaine. He has done some time in the state here and there, but nothing major. A 3-to-life bid in the state, but never caught another major bid again. The other person, 50...
I mean, all these folks selling it, you know what I'm saying? All these folks selling it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't think about this saving up, then getting out the game. Like, y'all just gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Know y'all gonna get caught with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mentioned is someone close to Bimmy. In interviews, he called him his brother.
Joe is my brother.
Press P-Pad.
You know what I mean? Like he gave it up. He know what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 50 Cent did tell you.
I can get mad at that.
I know a lot of that get though like Bimmy and Joe and Prince and Righteous from Hillside with the mole on his nose.
I already spoke on Prince in detail and mentioned Righteous when I touched on the infamous killings of the Colombian suppliers. But to sum it up, he was the head of security of the Supreme team. His full name is Ernesto Pinella, also known as Puerto Rican Righteous, one of the most respected and feared members of the team. When Supreme and Prince were in jail fighting cases, Righteous handled their business, collected money and enforced their will on the streets. He's been in and out of jail since the 80s for various violent crimes. Known as the ultimate stand-up guy, till his late 80s arrest for engaging in a shootout with 3 police officers. He eventually pleaded guilty to this charge and agreed to testify against Prince and his fellow security team members for an 8 to 16-year fixed term in the state for his cooperation. He did this because Prince allegedly slept with his wife when he was locked up, implying that Prince betrayed him first. He was known as a loose cannon who perpetrated the worst of the Supreme Team's heinous and violent crimes and then flipped the script on his comrades and blamed them for his actions. He did his time in prison, got out, forever branded a rat, a snitch. His current whereabouts are unknown. Chaz
You say one more goddamn name, 50 Cent. Me, you gonna fall the fuck out. God damn, I ain't heard that one rap. You ain't talking about somebody's name. God damn. Nah, Ja Rule, you won. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I thought, you know what I'm saying, 50 Cent whooping with the rap, but it changed my whole respect though. All right, 50 Cent. I'm trying to give you a chance to me. You know what I'm saying? But damn.
Williams was a street legend in Queens who managed 50 Cent in the late 90s.
I'm going with T.I. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with T.I. at this damn point. T.I. my boy too. I'm going with T.I. 50 Cent. You can't fuck with T.I. What y'all think? T.I. versus 50 Cent, who win? I'm going with T.I.
In his youth, he was a street dude and gang member that was given an 18-month juvenile detention sentence, but plotted a successful jailbreak that involved distracting security with an outburst. Upon his escape, he fled over the US border to Canada, where he was almost immediately caught for another attempted robbery. He later went on to rob around 60 banks in the 70s and received a 95-year prison term that was eventually whittled down to a decade and a half. Later on, he decided to go legit and founded the label Black Hand Entertainment to help shape the careers of rap stars like 50 Cent and Foxy Brown. 50 has claimed that Chaz was involved or knew about multiple attempts on his life, a fact he mentioned on the song Many Men.
Slim switch sides on me, let ride on me. I thought we was cool, why you want me to die, homie?
Also, that's who you talking about. Hold on, go back to me. We gonna slide past it. I don't know who you talking about on that damn song. All the year now I know who you talking about. I thought you were talking about this saying it random.
A fact he mentioned on the song Many Men.
Slim switch sides on me, let ride on me. I thought we was cool, why you want me to die, homie?
Chaz passed away on July 13th, 2019, and didn't get a chance to squash the beef with 50, even though he always portrayed himself as a neutral person who didn't have anything to do with the shooting. Tyron Tata Moore was an associate of Supreme that ironically might have been involved in 50's shooting, for which this song played a significant role. 50 even addressed these rumors on the song "You" off the mixtape Guess Who's Back in the year 2002.
Hey 50, who shot you? You think it was Preem? Freeze or Tata? Streets, bitches stay in the streets.
Next person he mentions is Corley Wall.
If I know some cats that hell out whole complexes like Corley Wall. Together you stand and divided they fall.
James Cole
snitched on everybody. At that point, 50 Cent snitched on everybody, bro. I ain't gonna count. I don't even know who worse. Well, Diddy worse at that damn point. But 50 Cent, you looking like number 2. You know what I'm saying? God damn, 50, I thought we gonna get in some, you know what I'm saying, 50 Cent, some rap shit, how he got them blew up in the rap game. Nigga, damn. These niggas went to telling. You know what I'm saying? God damn.
Play, also known as Wall, was one of the originators of the drug game, as the ringleader of a big-time cocaine ring.
I agree with that.
He walked among giants and was in the midst of all the early development, well known for being one of the founders of the Queen's drug trade as a member of the Round Table, the conglomerate of South Jamaica drug barons that held sway at the dawn of hip-hop and the crack era. Wall was not a member of the Supreme Team. He had his own unique thing.
Did he snitch on, if 50 Cent snitched on Jimi Hendrix? Let me know. Cause if he did, I'm cool with that. Cause I don't like Jimi Hendrix. Cause we did Tupac. I don't like this shit. But y'all let me know if he snitched on Jimi Hendrix. I'm gonna let that one slide right though. You know what I'm saying? I'll let that one slide right though.
40 Projects, where he ruled a drug empire with his brothers Peter and Donald Ducky Corley, who collectively were known as the Corley Brothers, which controlled 40 projects, just like Fat Cat and Pappy Mason controlled the block, and the Supreme Team ran Baisley Projects. He was in the drug game for over 30 years, even after 50 Cent dropped the song and mentioned him. so his statements that none of the drug dealers addressed in Ghetto Quran were active was false. Cause Corley Wall was arrested in 2012 and was charged with criminal sale of a controlled substance and other drug charges after a 15-month undercover investigation that used wiretaps and surveillance.
God damn.
44 other people were also charged with drug crimes and the dismantling of Corley's operation.
Round here, shook, they keep it in motion. Come around here with your roller, you can get robbed like Ocean.
Vincent Palermo, also known as Vinny Ocean, was an Italian-American mobster who was the de facto boss of the New Jersey De Cavalcante crime family, before becoming a government witness in 1999.
Oh, I ain't never seen no Italian, structure like I only seen Italian in GTA, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. Only, you know what I'm saying, Vice City type shit, but late 90s, ain't the Italian mall right here. Sheesh. They got their whole organization now. Sheesh. Captains. Who the fuck is this nigga on the left? Oh, yeah, he captain too? Okay, but. Okay, these main boss right here. Okay.
He was robbed for his cash and jewelry in Queens.
Said Jimmy Hinch was murdered one of 50 boys. Oh, man. Damn.
Thomas Mickens, also known as Tony Montana, was a prominent Laurelton, Queens drug dealer and multi-millionaire who came up with unique ways to launder and spend drug money, like for example starting a chain of businesses in Queens under the Montana name. In 1990, Tommy was sentenced to 35 years in prison for charges including tax evasion, but he was released in 2008, which means he only served 18 years instead of 35.
Rest in peace to Rich and Ron. Money what they was about, yo. The twins was from Queens but got crazy cream without Poe.
Richard and Ronald Hughes were twins from Queens that made their money in a Harlem-based drug gang, with another former drug dealer called Alpo Martinez, who was of Puerto Rican descent and one of the biggest names in the drug game. He rose to prominence in the mid-80s and expanded his drug trade to other cities, most notably Washington, D.C. He was arrested on November 7, 1991 in Washington, D.C. for selling drugs, and was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, various drug charges, and 14 counts of murder, including the one of D.C. drug dealer Michael Anthony Salters, aka Frey, and Brooklyn drug dealer Demencio Benson, facing the possibility of either the death penalty or life.
Is that what's called from the movie? What's that movie? What that movie called? Damn, what's the fuck that movie called? Fuck, I can't think of it. Damn, he look like what's called it.
Imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Alpo turned informant and testified against members of his organization. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison and was released in 2015 at the age of 49. 50 then names a list of lesser-known drug dealers.
Throughout my time, I heard tales of Jaime, Frenchie, Jamaican Paulie, Ducky Corley, Rodney Bumpin' Chick.
I mentioned Ducky Corley earlier. He's the brother of Corley Wall and part of the gang Corley family. Ronnie Burnell Bassett, also known as Bump or Bumps, was a heroin dealer whose supreme...
Hold on now. Damn. All that shit makes sense now. Damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. That's crazy. I didn't know that shit. That nigga legit like that motherfucker too.
Worked for as a stash house guard in his earlier days. Bumps was chosen to take over the wholesale heroin distribution of another drug dealer named Pops Freeman back in 1979 and achieved success comparable to that of Harlem kingpin Nicky Barnes. He had more than 100 employees running his numbers and drug rackets in at least 9 outlets around Queens. Took his business to at least 8 other cities around the country. During a 9-week period, federal agents traced $1.2 million worth of uncut heroin with a street value of more than $15,000 back to Bumps' operation. One of the people he supplied with drugs was Fat Cat, who years later made business with the Supreme Team.
I'm forgetting Lefty and Jazz, Pretty Tony and Lance, Head Luke, Mel Son, Troy and E Money Bags.
Lefty and Jazzy Jennings were drug dealers that operated in the immediate vicinity of the Arjun house, which is what Officer Bryan was guarding when he was shot 5 times in the face on the orders of Howard Peppy Mason. Anthony Furtado, also known as Pretty Tony, was the leader of a Queens gang called Black Rain, in which his brother Lance was also allegedly involved. Both were arrested in 1995. Pretty Tony, at that point in time, moved to Oregon to avoid the heat brought on by the Edward Bryan murder. Luke Spoon Steffens was a former lieutenant in Fat Cat's drug enterprise. Big Nose Troy Singleton was a Southeast Queens hustler with a long storied history in the neighborhood. The year after the release of the song, on October 28, 2000, he was shot dead by Supreme Team member Emmanuel Dog Mosley on orders of Supreme. The same shooter was charged in the death of Eric E. Moneybag Smith. Supreme put out a hit on those two along with 50 Cent and Green Eyed Born, who was never found by the assassins. But the four had formed an alliance against Supreme. E. Moneybags was a Brooklyn-born, Queens-raised rapper who was killed on July 16, 2001. They fired over 40 rounds into the car and struck him 10 times. The murder was videotaped so that Supreme could quote-unquote watch it at home and enjoy it, as Bags had tried to take Preem's life 2 years prior to this incident and accidentally killed Black Just in a shootout. So it was all revenge for one of his lieutenants. 6 years later, in 2007, Supreme was charged for the murders of those two and is now facing life in prison without the possibility of parole. He ends the song by shouting out 4 more people.
Shout out to Clamson, Clutch, Baldre, Black Will. If the flow don't kill you, the Mac will. Forgive me.
After the shooting, 50 Cent spent 13 days at the hospital and had to use a walker for the first 6 weeks. It took him a total of 5 months to fully recover. Started working out to develop the muscular physique that everybody knows him for. The blacklisting hindered him from recording music in a US studio. So he went to Canada to record over 30 songs for mixtapes to build a reputation. Rapping on the hardest beats from
So what the hell he was at in the movie then, when he went recording, when he was hot? I thought he was in New York. So he was in Canada the whole time? And to get Rich Dog trying.
Every artist until he reached a certain level of popularity. Then he dropped the legendary mixtape Guess Who's Back, which had the song Ghetto Quran on it, probably to provoke Supreme and to show that he ain't scared of anybody. Even had a diss song called F*** You on the mixtape, which was aimed at the people who are trying to kill him. 50 Cent, the first bulletproof rapper. That's how he was marketed back then. All around the world. Back then, 50 was treated like a superhero. Surviving 9 shots and then coming back stronger. He shook up the underground scene and finally got the attention he wanted. Because Eminem heard the mixtape the same year and invited him to LA to meet Dr. Dre. After that, he signed a $1 million record.
He was scared. Hold on, we gotta drop it.
This nigga's scared.
That boy was scared.
This nigga's scared.
Deal with Shady Aftermath, and the rest is history.
They're punished by watching my success. My issues with Preem.
Until my little niggas pray, and any motherfucker down with him to suck me. I'm still mad.
I don't like Supreme, but he lived the way he actually projected himself. His lifestyle is consistent.
He was true to it.
He never ratted on nobody.
Let Preem tell you I'm a snitch. Just say it one time.
Right.
All you gotta do is ask him who I told on. I ain't never told on no in my life.
Yeah.
Nah,
in the Preem situation.
Hell nah.
Stop the cap.
Me and Chad heard this shit. You dry snitching. You dry snitching. Yo, you dry snitching too. You ain't gonna lie.
Look at this case. It'll tell you who told on him.
Right.
My name ain't in that case.
Now you should live in a penitentiary till your name lives. You see what I'm saying? Right. Live up to your name. See, the difference is your reputation doesn't mean anything because everybody there is like you. Some people really look strong, and it's their influence that's really strong. And they're really weak individuals. See, I didn't have anybody to go to. And with nobody to run to.
Everybody's greater in their absence than they are in their presence. His aura is stronger than he is. Ask him about that when he go get his arm broke in the joint. They missed that part. He gonna say he slipped, fell on the mop.
I'm just the best.
Damn. That was WW stream. But that shit right here, DMX shit. Ooh, that shit so sad. Y'all make sure y'all go check out that stream I did on DMX. That shit was so sad. But I hope y'all enjoyed the stream, man. W stream. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow 11 p.m. I will be doing NWA for the first time. My first time reacting to NWA. My first 90s. I mean, not 90s, but 80s. Easy.